Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. So today we are going to be testing out a bit of our rank 2 Red Goblin. Now I haven't really done any videos on him, but I actually really like him as a champion, and he's actually pretty underrated, I'd say. So today, after getting Odin in my amazing opening yesterday as 6-star, I've decided to use all the three pre-fights on him. I've got Heimdall also in synergy, and he's got two other synergies with Heimdall, so we're fully synergized out. I just put a cosmic power boost on, as you can see, and yeah, this is Red Goblin at his max potential. We've done 5 fights, so we've got 5 of those charges, which is the max he can get, and for each persistent charge he gets a bit more damage, but he starts hitting pretty hard after that SP3 anyway. So the first thing we wanted to do, as you can see we've already done, is we've done the SP1, and if you finish on a light attack, then you'll get an energized buff, which just gives you a bit more power gain, makes it easier to get to the SP3, which we're going to do now. And depending on how you finish your attack will be what affects the champion. So if we finish with a heavy attack, as you can see here, we will gain an aptitude buff, which will increase the potency of our fury and precision buffs. As you'll see here, we've got 3 of those aptitude buffs now. If we ended with a medium, we'd get fury buffs, and if we ended with a light, we'd get energized buffs. And these all impact what you will place as the debuff on the opponent. We're getting a bunch of incinerates. So the aptitude gives you more incinerates, the mediums will give you more armor breaks, and the lights will give you more of those power drains. So he's got a lot going on. That SP2, we had a massive amount of damage, but now the heavy attacks are going to start doing some crazy damage. Like, we've done about 3 heavy attacks, and he's just absolutely melted. His playstyle is pretty much like Domino with the Trinity after you've done the SP3, where you're just spamming heavies to get those incinerates, because that is where most of his damage comes, except for the SP2. But yeah, his rotation isn't too difficult. It's a bit long, and that's why a lot of people don't want to use him, because for most content, you don't want to be doing an SP1, an SP3, and then an SP2. But you could just go to SP3 and then do SP2 and then sort of heavy spam. But I like getting that energized buff just to get a bit more power gain. And the power boost isn't doing too much for us here, because most of our damage is coming from those incinerates and the extra red damage, which doesn't count towards the power boost, which is also why Apocalypse isn't great with the power boosts. But it's just a nice thing to have. I just wanted to go full maxed out with this Red Goblin gameplay, and also get hit in the face there. Although that is a strategic play, as you can see, because we're actually healing, because I have willpower now, which is also new for some people, because I remember seeing comments like, why don't you have willpower, why don't you have willpower? So I got it after about 4 years of playing the game. Absolute scrub plays. But anyway, we're just going to go for a heavy attack now. Nice intercept. He's got a pretty good range on the heavy, except he does dash back a bit afterwards, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, we got it off there, and now we've got a few of those aptitude buffs. We're going to spam some more heavies. As you'll see, we've got a pretty good amount of power gain, because we've got that energized buff up still, and he's also just got increased power rate right now while we're in this frenzy mode, which you can see by that red symbol with his goblin face right there. Now, if we just get the SP2, we can finish that on a medium to get a bunch of furies, so then the aptitudes will increase those furies potency, and yeah, as you can see, we've already got a fury from the Heimdall synergy, and we're going to launch it off here, intercept, bam bam, and a very big blast at the end. It's a very satisfying SP2, I must say. All his animations are pretty smooth, to be honest, and originally I was more hyped for this guy than CGR, so unfortunately got a bit overshadowed by CGR, because CGR hits a lot harder more quickly. But yeah, as you can see, absolutely melted that Black Panther. So the next fight I had after that was actually Scarlet Witch, but that fight went a bit south very quickly, so I ended up just getting out of that fight, and we're doing the Wolverine one now. So this fight, you may think, how is Red Goblin going to be able to take up Wolverine with all that regeneration? Well, after we have built him up enough, we've got the SP1, got the Energized, then we get to the SP3, and then the SP2, so it is, as I said once before, quite a long rotation. With all those incinerates and all those debuffs, we're just going to be absolutely getting rid of that healing, and that will be no problem anymore for this Red Goblin. So yeah, it's a bit of a ramp up, but we don't have to worry. As you can see, he's getting a bunch of regens at the start of the fight, but we don't care, because we're just waiting till we get to that very spicy SP2, and then the bombs after that are just going to be doing mad damage, because at first his heavy attacks, they do decent damage. I think it was 600 damage per tick on the incinerates with all of these buffs. But the main thing for Red Goblin is the more buffs you have, the more debuffs he's going to place on the opponent. So even if you went in like an Icarus matchup, you would do a lot of damage. However, Icarus does get rid of your Furies if you do a heavy attack, so maybe that wouldn't work. But if you wanted to do buffed up or something, he'd be very good for that. But he also places a lot of debuffs on the opponent, so he'd be good for other nodes. So yeah, as you can see, we're going to get to the SP2 very quickly after that SP3. And we end with the medium, bam, bam, and then last hit there, a bunch of bonus damage with the red damage there. Then we do a nice little light hit towards him, pro plays there, and the incinerates are just going to melt. And I think right here we just let him absolutely melt to death. And that's it, Red Goblin OP. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
That's just the drugs. Don't they make you feel numb? You can't feel it all. Maybe if we loved ourselves, it wouldn't be so hard. Wouldn't be so hard to love each other. I don't think we're in love. That's just the drugs. Don't they make you feel numb?